everybody, and welcome back to Magic City Morphs. Today we're going to be doing that highly anticipated video for you that I've been talking about on how to identify snakes. They're coming out. It's getting really hot outside. You're going to be seeing a lot more of them. So we're going to be going over all of the different species of snakes in Alabama. I'm going to be showing you what they look like. I'm going to be talking about the 6 venomous snakes in our state, telling you a little bit about them, showing you how to identify them, and talk a little bit about what to do in the event that you do get bitten. This is basically going to be an educational video that I hope will help everybody that might be struggling with this issue, whether you like snakes or not, because when we are outdoors, we do want to stay safe. Learning how to identify snakes is a very, very beneficial thing to know, whether you like them or not. This is Falcor. He's one of our males, and then this is Gia. She's one of our female ball pythons, and she's kind of looking backwards. She's turned around backwards, but she's really pretty. She's a GHI lesser or lesser GHI. Falcor, I've talked about him plenty of times. He's going to be the father of our next 2 clutches. He's a fruit passion, otherwise known as a banana mystic potion. So I've got these 2 guys out. In a nutshell, what I'm going to be doing for you guys is I'm going to be showing you all 43 species in our state. 3 are technically lizards in the lizard family. So I'm going to show you those 2, but I'm going to have a picture pop up with each name that I read so that you can see a picture of what this looks like with the name of the snake. And then we're going to go into a little bit more detail about the venomous snakes, since those are the ones we really need to be educated on identifying very well. I'm going to go ahead and go over for you the non-venomous species of Alabama that reside in our state. So here we go. The milk snake, the eastern racer, the corn snake, the plain-bellied water snake, the diamondback water snake, the crayfish snake, the rough earth snake, the scarlet king snake, the banded water snake, the queen snake, the common garter snake, the eastern worm snake, the coal skink, which that's one of those in the lizard family, but it often gets confused with snakes, so that's why they include those. The gray rat snake, the common king snake, the coach whip, the rough green snake, the eastern ribbon snake, the Mississippi green water snake, the brown water snake, the ring-necked snake, the salt marsh snake, the speckled king snake, the southern hognose snake, the slender glass lizard, that's another one of those that's in the lizard family, the eastern indigo snake, the mud snake, the yellow-bellied king snake, the eastern hognose snake, the pine snake, the rainbow snake, the smooth earth snake, the southeastern crown snake, the black swamp snake, Decay's brown snake, the scarlet snake, and the mimic glass lizard. So there's 1 or 2 of those that's a legless lizard, so that's why they put those in there, because they look like snakes. They get mistaken for snakes, so that's why they're included in the 43 species. But that is basically what I just read, all of the non-venomous species that you're going to see outside. Probably more commonly what you're going to be seeing is you're going to be seeing some variation of king snake, the speckled king snake mostly. You're going to probably see the eastern hognose snake, and you're also probably going to see the diamondback water snake or northern water snake, as well as the gray rat snake. And there are a lot of corn snakes that show up, which corn snakes are also technically in the rat snake family. And milk snakes of any kind are actually in the king snake family. If you encounter one of these are not going to be able to hurt you. They're not going to be able to kill you or anything like that. They're non-venomous. They have teeth, but they're harmless. A lot of snakes, like rat snakes, are great for the environment. They help keep the rodents down, just like a lot of other snakes too. But those king snakes, they are also immune to venom, so they can actually eat a lot of venomous snakes like copperheads, rattlesnakes, etc. So those are good snakes to have around. You never want to do anything to a king snake. I always advocate for not hurting snakes at all, because all snakes matter and every one of them has a place in the environment and is important. I'm all about relocation. Snakes do not seek us out to chase us or find us to try and hurt us on purpose or anything like that. A lot of times they just get lost. They may be crossing the road. They may end up in your yard. They may be looking for somewhere to have their babies. There's all kinds of reasons why you might come across a snake out in the wild in your residential area. But it never means that they want to come after you. So remember that. Even if you come across a venomous snake, just remember that that snake is not trying to come find people to bother them or scare them or hurt them. And there's a lot of myths out there that snakes chase people, and they don't. So I want to bust that myth right here. The cottonmouth in particular is one of the venomous snakes here in Alabama, and it does not chase people. So with that, let's go ahead and talk about the 6 venomous snakes here in Alabama. So 5 of the venomous snakes in our great state of Alabama are in the viper family. They're actually considered pit vipers. And if you don't know what that means, pit vipers have heat-seeking pits in their face on either side, and that helps them when they're actually hunting for prey. The coral snake is the only one out of the 6 venomous snakes here in Alabama that belongs to the elapid family. And that is the same family of snakes that the cobra and the crate belongs to. There are many species of cobra, many species of crates. So those are all in the same family. So the coral snake is actually a part of the elapid family, the same family as the cobra. So the 6 venomous snakes are the timber rattlesnake, the eastern diamondback rattlesnake, the cottonmouth, otherwise known as the water moccasin, the copperhead, the pygmy rattlesnake, and the eastern coral snake. Let's go ahead and talk about the eastern diamondback rattlesnake. So this is a really, really important one, you guys. I want you to pay attention to. I'm going to have some B-roll up here so you can actually see some video of what these snakes look like and some pictures. The eastern diamondback can get really big. The largest one recorded down here in the south was a little over 7 feet long. So they can get pretty big. And they have the longest fangs of any venomous snake in North America. Think about that, you guys. This is one of the snakes that you really want to worry about if you do get bitten by them. Their venom is very toxic. It's hemotoxic, like a lot of viper venom. Their venom actually is able to kill red blood cells and cause major tissue damage. And what happens with a snake like this, and most venomous snakes, is if the bite is left untreated, and you don't seek medical help, the bodily functions will break down over 2 to 3 days, and you will have severe organ damage or death, which we don't want that, right? The timber rattlesnake can oftentimes get mistaken for the diamondback, the eastern diamondback rattlesnake, but it is a different looking rattlesnake. So I've got some video of that here. And this is another large venomous snake that we have here in Alabama. The venom from this snake is also hemotoxin, and it can cause skin to swell and turn black and actually fall off. So you really don't want to leave one of these bites untreated. Pygmy rattlesnake is a very, very small species of rattlesnake. This bite is going to cause some swelling, bleeding. This bite is this is a smaller snake, so it's not going to be as extensive as an eastern diamondback or timber rattlesnake, but it's going to cause some damage too. So this is still one you want to worry about. You want to worry about children. You want to worry about small pets. These are lives that could be heavily affected by a bite from a pygmy rattlesnake. The coral snake causes neurotoxic motor weakness if you get bitten by one of these, respiratory muscle weakness, and a lot of times people that get bitten by coral snakes have to have ventilation support. The copperhead has also hemotoxic venom. Children, small pets, the elderly, and people with compromised immune systems are more at risk from bites from copperheads. The cottonmouth, otherwise known as the water moccasin, causes local destruction of tissue, potentially loss of arms and legs, guys, if you don't get these bites treated. So they're all serious. More often than not, a bite of an eastern diamondback is going to be fatal. Also, potentially timber rattlesnake, coral snake. But a lot of times that's got to do with if you leave the bite untreated and you aren't going to seek medical attention. Now, let me go over really quick the mortality rate with these different snakes. The eastern diamondback has a 10 to 20% fatality rate. So that's the big one, the eastern diamondback, that I want you to pay attention to. And the timber rattlesnake has 1 in 10 to 1 in 100 deaths. So that's the other big rattlesnake you need to pay attention to. The pygmy rattlesnake has no documented cases of fatality, so it has a 0% fatality rate, you guys. The coral snake has a 10% fatality rate, so that's another one you want to worry about, you want to be careful of. The copperhead has 0.01% mortality rate. So even though the copperhead is one of those snakes here that you see everybody talking about, everyone's freaking out about copperheads, the good thing is that bites from those are rarely fatal unless you're a small child, possibly a small pet, an elderly person, someone with a compromised immune system, or maybe some different allergies. But there was a post the other day I saw where a small girl survived a copperhead bite, and she was fine. Her foot swelled up and she had a lot of bruising, but she was able to get help at the hospital in time, so everything was okay. The cottonmouth has a mortality rate of less than 1%. So that's another one. I actually saw a post the other day where this mom got bitten by one at a creek site where a lot of people take their families, and she was okay too. She went to the hospital, everything was fine. She had some swelling and some bruising. Let's go over really quick some snakes that are commonly mistaken for a lot of these venomous snakes that we commonly see out here, so we can actually kind of help people. So if you see any of the water snakes, the diamondback water snake, the plain-bellied water snake, the northern water snake, even the Mississippi green water snake, all of those water snakes are often confused with the cottonmouth, but they're not actually cottonmouths. They're harmless, they don't have any venom, and they eat fish mostly. So if you come across one of those, you're completely fine. Also, a snake that commonly gets mistaken for the copperhead is the gray rat snake, surprisingly. And another snake that gets mistaken for a rattlesnake is, surprisingly, the eastern hognose snake. So those are some common snakes that people might see and be scared of and think, oh my gosh, is that a copperhead? Is that a cottonmouth? Is that a rattlesnake? But they are, in fact, harmless. So one thing that I'm always going to preach, as I've said earlier in the video, is relocation. We have a really great company called Alabama Snake Removers. These guys can come out and remove a snake for you if you're afraid, whether it's venomous or not. They are trained professionals, and they're able to come out and help you relocate that snake and get it out of your hair for you. If you are in the Louisiana area, Steve's Snaketuary is a great resource too. He is a great guy. He's one of our good friends. You should definitely contact him for relocation. He is part of that firefighter team that rescued that beautiful big albino boa constrictor. If you remember seeing that story, that it made news headlines, and that boa is doing great. So this guy does some great work. You should totally go support him and follow him on his social media. Knowing how to identify snakes when you're outside is very, very important, especially for young kids. They should always run into your house and tell you if they see a snake, no matter what kind it is. But educating people on how to identify them is going to teach everyone, especially small kids, how to spot a copperhead, how to spot a rattlesnake. We need to know these things. We really do need to know which ones are venomous and which ones are not, because a lot of times what's happening is a lot of these very harmless snakes that are great for the environment are getting killed by mistake. A lot of people will kill them and then after the fact post on Facebook and ask, what kind of snake is this? And that doesn't do anybody any good. I can understand as a parent being afraid. I have a child myself, being outside playing. But I'm telling you, whether you like snakes or not, it's 100% better to be educated and to know when there is a venomous snake in your vicinity or not. Also with dogs, I know a lot of people allow their dogs to attack snakes to protect their children, to protect their family. But, I'm not the type of person that would want to put my dog's life at risk. So there are people that actually train dogs to refrain from attacking snakes. I saw a TikTok where a rattlesnake actually had a muzzle on it, and they were training dogs to go up to snakes and see them, but then turn around and leave them alone. Because a lot of family dogs are losing their lives over this stuff, when the owners of these dogs could actually be more responsible and try to keep the dogs away from the snake. I know a lot of people like to film dogs attacking snakes for, a viral video or things like that, or to show how brave their dog is. But why do you want to put your family pet at risk? I just really don't think that's in the best interest of your animal, especially when you end up having to rush them to the hospital to try and save their life. But also the senseless killings of snakes in general is something that, I'm definitely not for. I don't think that anything should die for just existing. I mean, there's a lot of different frogs out there that are poisonous, but we don't kill every frog we see because we're afraid it might be poisonous. We have a respect for that type of animal. We have a respect for sharks. We have a respect for bears. We have a respect for crocodiles and alligators. We know that all these animals can kill us too if they want to, but we're not out trying to kill all of them when we see them. But the other thing is that, if you are going to kill a venomous snake, I want you to understand this too. The way that a snake's anatomy is, the way that snakes are biologically put together, in the way that their brains work and their nerve endings work and nervous system works. When you kill a snake, you can behead a snake, you can do whatever. You can, a lot of people think that when they cut the snake's head off that they can pick it up and they can show it to everybody and that they're fine. Actually, snakes can still envenomate after they have been killed, technically killed, because they can still move around and they can still bite, actually, even if they've been decapitated. So it's actually much safer to relocate the snake if you can. Have someone come to that for you, because killing a venomous snake, beheading a venomous snake, and trying to handle it after is actually a bad idea. And also another thing is people don't understand the difference between poisonous and venomous. Poisonous and venomous are two very different things. Venomous is anything that can inject a venom into you and inject a toxin into you. Poisonous means if you eat a plant or, something like that, if you ingest something that has poison in it. Venom is injected. Poison just exists within something, and it's not going to affect your body unless you ingest it yourself. So poison is ingested by you yourself, but then venom is injected into you. So remember that. Also, guys, if you do happen to see a snake like one of ours that we have here at Magic City Morris, any of our boa constrictors, any of our ball pythons, that is actually a pet snake. That is not a wild snake. So if you see one like that, you need to contact somebody, post on Facebook, try to help find the owner, because that is actually an escaped pet. It doesn't usually happen all the time, but it does still happen sometimes. And that is not a snake that is going to try to hurt you either. You need to really try and find the owner of that snake. I actually saw a post the other day where someone saw a classic normal morph ball python, and they were asking what kind of snake it was. There is actually a great Facebook group you can join called Snake Identification, Discussion and Resources. I'll put an image of that up here. That's a very good group you can join on Facebook. If you have a picture of a snake and you want to know what it is, all you gotta do is post it in the group, and a bunch of people will respond really quick to tell you the ID of that snake and whether or not it is venomous. So I have my U.S. ARC shirt on today. I wanted to talk to you guys about U.S. ARC. If you haven't been following the Florida incident down there, the FWC tragedy that happened on April 6th, where the legal pet pregnant boa was killed, along with 33 or 34 other snakes. This is a huge thing. They just had a meeting down there, a 2-day meeting, and this last one that wrapped up on May 11th was where a lot of reptile keepers were able to travel down there and attend this meeting and actually talk to the commissioners themselves. And if you go on YouTube, if you go on TikTok, there's a lot of videos of these people expressing their opinions and their concerns to these commissioners, having their voices heard. I wish I could have gone down there and been one of the people to go, but I wasn't able to. But I'm so thankful for all of the keepers and breeders that did travel down there to represent our community. Now, the reason I wanted to do this video is because it ties in with this incident that happened. These people that work for the FWC, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, they came into this person's facility and they misidentified a snake and killed it when it was legal for this person to own it. It was a boa constrictor. We have 4 boa constrictors here at Magic City Morphs. I would be absolutely devastated if one of our boas got killed by mistake because someone didn't know what they were looking at. They didn't know whether this was a reticulated python, a Burmese python, or a boa, obviously. And it's very, very easy to tell the difference if you educate yourself. So not only should we educate ourselves on snakes out in the wild because we want to stay safe and we want to know which one is which, but we want to know how to identify snakes because, like I said, you could come across someone's pet outside and think that it's harmful and kill it when it's an innocent, captive bred snake that's not indigenous to here at all. And you know, and like I've said in my other videos about this incident, you may not like snakes, you may not be a reptile keeper yourself, but these animals mean just as much to us as your cats and dogs mean to you. So imagine someone coming into your home and killing your beloved cats or dogs. You know, that's how it would feel to us if someone came into our house and did that. So please go support USARK. Go join, go donate. Also go join and donate to USARK Florida. Those are the people down there representing us in the state of Florida with all of this. And, you know, USARK stands for the United States Association of Reptile Keepers, and these are the people that are fighting for our rights to keep these animals. And it's not only reptiles that are getting affected. There's a bunch of laws that are trying to be passed on other exotic animals like ferrets, different species of fish, sugar gliders, hedgehogs, all kinds of different animals that a lot of people like to keep. So if you want to see these animals still be legal for you to keep and be protected, please go support USARK. They don't just support reptile keepers. They support everybody. They're out here fighting for the exotic animal keepers too, of animals that aren't reptiles. So remember that. I have the websites to both USARK and USARK Florida down in the description. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Also, if you haven't already, please follow us on our Instagram. We are at magic_city_morphs. Also, we are on TikTok. We're at Magic City Morphs on TikTok. And we are on Facebook. Magic City Morphs on Facebook. See you next time.